So in this little video, we're going to catch up on the exterior again, and we are getting oh so close. I start with a few drone photos that our neighbor was nice enough to come over and take for me, highlighting the roof primarily, but just to give you some neat shots of the house from a different perspective. And I would draw your eye to all of the boards that are around the outside of the house. Those are basically forms for the concrete work that we will be pouring here coming up in this video. So you see the patio and the walkways in the front of the house, the nice curve on the one, the driveway, the sidewalks around the side, and then some pad work around the back. So here you see a bit more of the forming. We're also going to update on the fence and a little bit on the porch. Now the other thing that I'm going to talk a little bit about in this is the finish that we decided to put on the concrete is something called a raised aggregate finish. And it is a popular finish in this climate for a couple of reasons. One, we don't really deal with a lot of freezing, so you get a nice rough surface. It looks pretty because you see some of the stones that are in the concrete. You don't really need to worry about shoveling very often, so the bumpy texture of it doesn't really hinder using a shovel. And what they also told me was it is more forgiving to pour in the rain for reasons that you will see here in a minute. So in a climate where it rains a lot, it allows them to have more days where they can actively pour flat surfaces. Now if you want a perfectly smooth surface to your concrete and it rains while it's still wet, it ruins it. So if it rains a lot, it's difficult to do that efficiently. Here you see them pouring the driveway. So the steps involved in raised aggregate finishing are all the same up till the very end. So you pour the concrete, you spread it around, you screed it to get it roughly level and so that the slopes all run toward the drains. Now we have a drain in our driveway, we have a drain in our patio, we have several surface drains around. So you screed it to get the elevations and the level properly. Then you trowel finish the top. Then you cut the expansion joints in it so that you control where it cracks. And then finally, as it starts to harden, you spray a retardant on the surface, which keeps the very top surface from hardening. And then after a while there you see Jesse spraying the retardant on it. And then after a little bit longer, you come out with a hose and water pressure and you basically wash the surface slurry, they call it, off the top, exposing the gravel and the stones that are part of the concrete mix. You'll see it all happen here in a minute. So that's smoothed and troweled, but no expansion joints in it yet. That's got the expansion joints cut in it. And those are placed in areas of highest stress. You see off corners of buildings and things where they know the concrete is likely to crack. They want to control how it happens. The last step, spray the retardant on it and then wait for it to harden a bit more. And the last stage with the hose is really quite interesting and satisfying to watch. It's quite magical. You see him spraying the surface part which didn't get hard because of the retardant, and you see the pebbles being exposed. So you end up with this really quite pretty textured surface on the top, which is very durable, nice to look at, and very popular out here on the coast for some reason. Well, for all the reasons I mentioned earlier. I'll shut up and let you watch him. There you see the nice sort of ramp that we were able to pour down the side of the house between our house and Sandy and Lisa. That worked out really well. I'm very pleased. And because of this texture is quite grippy, it's quite easy walking down that slope without worrying about slipping. Here you see them pouring the back bit. This is taken from the porch back behind the house outside the back door. It's going to be quite a treat to not have to walk around in the mud outside the house. Now coming up soon, we're going to see some photos of the fence starting. So we're putting a beautiful solid cedar fence between the neighbors and us. 6.5 or 7 feet tall, should give us our privacy back. We don't intend to finish it. We're just going to let the cedar weather to that nice silver color that cedar does. And it's made out of some really nice big rough sawn cedar posts and rails and fence boards. It's really going to be quite beautiful. I'll make sure I put another video and some photos up of that as it comes together. It's a combination of 6x6 and 8x8 cedar fence posts, so quite substantial feel to it. And there you see a little bit of the posts going in. They got cemented in at the same time as the concrete was poured behind the house. Now we're just going to finish up with a little bit of the porch progress. Now we've known all along that we're going to have these steps down off of the porch all the way across. We decided to paint them the same color as the porch floor itself. There you see Darren working on the tongue and groove yellow cedar boards that form the treads on the steps. And there you see the finished product. We are very tickled with how nice this looks. Now the post bases still get shingle detail on them, and when that's done, the front of the house is going to be 100% complete. Going to be some nice gin and tonics in the warm sun on the front of the house with some nice flower pots on the porch. Next summer is going to be a very nice experience. All for now. Bye.